I bought this skein of yarn in 2013 at a yarn shop in Sitka, Alaska. It is 40% silk and 60% fiber made from seaweed, which is stunning and amazing. It takes color beautifully, as you can see. This is hand dyed locally in Sitka, Alaska, and it has been in my collection, haunting me and taunting me for 13 years. I have tried several times to force it to be something, and it has just not worked out for one reason or another. And part of that is because I was not really understanding the personality of this particular fiber combination and the structure of this particular yarn. I'm Suzi Quillen. I'm the Empress of Yarn here at Perfectly Knotty, and I am your stitching coach. And in this video, I am talking about leaning into JOMO instead of FOMO. So let's talk first about the difference between JOMO and FOMO. We all know FOMO, right? The fear of missing out. We always, in our stitching life, we have a tendency to always be seeking and looking for the newest color, the most popular pattern, the patterns that are trending and going viral. And I want to challenge you to take a breath and lean into some JOMO. JOMO is the joy of missing out. And in that process, I have been leaning into shopping and enjoying my own stash. Not the inventory I carry here at Perfectly Knotty, but my own personal collection of yarn. And why would a person who sells yarn be telling you to shop your own stuff? And here's why. Because I am finding that it is helping me to connect with and tap into my creativity. It is expanding my creativity as a maker, and we're going to talk about that a little bit in this video. So we were getting ready to go on a trip earlier this year, and I needed a project to travel with. And I had taken this exact same yarn on a trip last year and tried to make a thing with it, and it did not work. And I just felt like this was its year. And I couldn't figure out what I wanted to do. So I started going through binders that I have on the shelf over here. I have a huge stash of them. Most of them are from my grandmother, and then there's a few pattern books and things that I've collected over the years. But I was going through and I found this cute top pattern, and as soon as I saw it, my brain immediately knew that that seaweed and silk yarn needed to get turned into this top. So I got the yarn out and I started swatching it, and oh my goodness, it was the ideal stitch pattern for that yarn. Where I had been failing before is that I wasn't accounting for the fact that the silk and the seaweed has a lot more drape and movement than it has structure. And while both of these fibers have memory and they have strength to them, they don't have structure. And so what was happening is that I was trying to get more fabric out of my 700 yards by doing big open work lacy stitches. But it was collapsing and it wasn't staying beautiful. And then when I tried to do something that was more stitch dense, I wasn't getting any fabric out of it because the fabric density, all of the stitches were just taking up all of the yarn that I had, the mileage that I had of this yarn, until I found this. And to me, it helped me to tap into my heritage as a stitcher. So we've all heard those jokes, right? That she who dies with the most yarn wins, and other stash beyond life expectancy and things of that nature. But what I've been delving into with this JOMO is playing sort of a game with myself. And that is, what can I make with what I have? And this is a concept that I learned from one of my grandmothers, and that she just challenged me to be creative with what I already have. And this is what I tapped into. I found a pattern that was already in my stash. I found some yarn that was already in my stash. And I started my project. And I'm just so excited for it. And it makes like a puzzle for my brain when I need to work out, and how do I make this work with what I have without going and buying something else and something more. And we'll talk about the trim here shortly. But my two grandmothers are absolutely entrenched in this project. My one grandmother, who taught me to knit and crochet, and whose patterns I inherited, including this one right here, and my other grandmother, who taught me to be creative and resourceful from what I have before I seek my creativity and my resourcefulness elsewhere. A phrase that I learned a long time ago is that it's not really about how resourced we are. It's much more about how resourceful we are. So after I swatched this fabulous yarn and was happy with it, it just started coming together. And when we find the right combination for our yarn and our knitting needles, our hooks, and the pattern, and all of that comes together, projects come together so beautifully. And this project just really, once I got there, I was like, this is it. And I actually stitched it up very quickly. I did not have quite enough yarn to do the finished edges. And I tapped in to that concept of, what do I already have? So I started rummaging through my stash and looking for any kind of a yarn that I had that would complement this silk and seaweed yarn. So I knew that I did not want something fuzzy on there. But I will say, having a fuzzy edge contrasting against the very smooth, almost shine of the silk and seaweed might be a fun and playful interaction. But it wasn't what I was going for a warm weather t-shirt. I found this skein of blue cotton yarn, but it's a mercerized cotton. It has a soft twist, very similar to the soft twist of the silk and seaweed. And that color blue is an exact match for the little bit of blue that was in this hand-dyed yarn. I was amazed. And I used that for the edging. And here is my finished result. I've worn this a few times now. I got to finish it in time to wear for Easter Sunday. It's super comfortable. It's really lovely to wear, and I'm super happy with that. There we go. And so what I want to share with you today is, don't be afraid to try things. Don't get locked into all of the things that are brand new. Look for these in your stash. If you've got vintage patterns, yarns that you've collected for many years, I don't want you to feel guilty about that. I want you to reconnect with the resources that you currently have. So tell me in the comments, what is your oldest, your vintage stash treasure? Is it patterns that you love to look through? These can be just as relevant today as they were when they were designed. This pattern book is from 1965, folks. And just by simply changing a yarn, I have made it just as relevant for today as it was in 1965. So I want you to reach in there, grab a hold of that, play with some things and experiment. All right, so I'd love it if you'd come over and join me in the Stitchery Journey community and talk about it. Share what you're working on. Do you have a pattern or a yarn that you're trying to combine and it's fighting you a little bit, or it's suddenly making sense for you? We love to talk about these things over in the community. So you can head over to perfectlyknotty.com/community and you can sign up. I'll send you the invitation link right to your inbox and you can get started right away. It's so fun, you guys. So fun. Dig into your stash. Reconnect with your stash. You bought these yarns with an intent. They spoke to you at some point in time. There is no shame in your stash. I'm not ever going to tell you never buy more yarn, but I also want to encourage you to look at what you do have. Be reminded by that yarn why you purchased it in the first place. And let's reconnect back to that. Let's find out, what does that yarn want to be? Let's bring it to life. Let's do it together over in the Stitchery Journey community on the school platform. Again, I'm Suzi Quillen. I'm your Empress of Yarn. I'm your stitching coach. And I'm so glad that you're here today. Don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel and make sure you follow along. Comment below. Let's connect. Have an awesome day, guys.